Okay, let's talk about something truly special. For millions of people, the day just doesn't start right without the warm, savory smell of soy, or Vietnamese sticky rice. It's more than just food. It's an icon, a staple of Vietnamese cuisine that so many of us absolutely love.
I mean, it's that perfect grab-and-go breakfast, right? It's warm, it's hearty, and it feels so incredibly familiar. You grab a little packet on your way to work or school, and it just feels like the right way to kick off the day.
But have you ever really stopped to think about what's actually packed into one of those delicious servings? That feeling of being so full and satisfied comes from somewhere. Just how much energy are we really talking about here?
All right, brace yourself for this one. A single, average serving of soy can have around 600 calories. Yeah, 600. Just let that number sit with you for a second.
Now, let's put that into perspective, because that number is huge. Those 600 calories absolutely tower over a big, hearty bowl of pho, which is already filling at around 400, and it completely dwarfs a regular bowl of steamed rice, which is only about 130. So the takeaway here is that soy is way, way more energy dense than most of us probably think.
So what's the secret? What makes it so dense? Well, it comes down to a special kind of complex carb called amylopectin. This stuff is all over sticky rice. And to put it simply, it's a non-soluble carb that your body has a really tough time breaking down, which can also cause a pretty quick spike in your blood sugar.
And because it's so hard to digest, going overboard on the soy can lead to some pretty uncomfortable problems. We're talking about things like constipation, bloating, indigestion, and even heartburn or acid reflux. Sound familiar to anyone out there?
So, because of all this, there are certain groups of people who probably need to be a little more mindful of how much soy they're eating. Let's break down who should be extra careful.
First up, pretty obviously, is anyone who's trying to lose weight. It's just simple math, really. With a super high calorie count and all that dense starch, eating soy regularly can make it significantly harder to shed pounds. It's pretty much the opposite of a light breakfast.
Next, if you've got a sensitive stomach, you want to pay attention to this. The very thing that makes sticky rice sticky also makes it tough to digest. So for people who are already prone to things like acid reflux, it can actually make your stomach produce more acid, leading to that awful heartburn, burping, and just general discomfort.
And this one is really fascinating. For people who believe they have what's called a hot constitution, eating a lot of sticky rice is thought to sometimes show up on the outside. This could lead to things like acne or even rashes. So if you've ever noticed a connection there, well, there might be something to it.
Okay, so after hearing all of that, are we saying you should give up soy forever? No way, absolutely not. It's all about being smart with it. So let's get into the expert advice from Dr. Trung Hong Son on how to enjoy it the right way.
Here are 3 simple, totally doable rules. First, just limit how often you eat it. Think of soy as a treat, not a daily thing. Maybe aim for no more than twice a week. Second, balance it out. Don't just eat the sticky rice by itself. Pair it with some protein like meat or eggs, and throw in some vegetables to make it a more complete, balanced meal. And finally, just slow down. Chew it really well. This gives your digestive system a much-needed helping hand and helps prevent that heavy, bloated feeling later.
All right, before we wrap this up, there is one last, and I mean crucial, piece of advice from Dr. Son. And this one isn't just about feeling good, it's really about your safety.
You see it all the time, right? Street vendors using newspaper to wrap up food. But you should never eat food that's been touching newspaper directly. And the reason is actually pretty serious. The ink often contains lead. That's a heavy metal that is incredibly dangerous to ingest. So always make sure there's a safe layer, like a banana leaf, between the newspaper and your food.
So it just goes to show, even the foods we know and love the best can have some hidden secrets. Which brings us to a final thought for you. After digging into the real story behind a simple serving of soy, what other common food in your own diet are you a little more curious about now?